Folks, take a look into the eyes of Priscilla Barnes and you'll see the steady, even-keeled gaze of an entertainment industry survivor. A woman who, no matter what came her way, figured out how to emerge triumphant. So just what in the world am I talking about? After all, aren't we just talking about the actress who played smart and sexy nurse Terri Alden on Three's Company? Yeah, we are. But there is so much more to her story. After getting discovered by none other than Bob Hope, it didn't take Priscilla long to find her way to television and movies. I'm not going to mention everything that she's done, but I will talk about a few that really resonated with me. First, there was this version of the H.G. Wells classic, The Time Machine. To this day, I love movies about time travel, and this one, which was filmed in my home state of Utah, was a solid adaptation of the novel, despite a few liberties being taken. Around the same time, Priscilla starred with fellow Utahn Deborah Klinger in the short-lived CBS TV series, The American Girls. For whatever reason, growing up, I thought this show was called The All-American Girls. But as I review the information about this show that's readily available online, I can now see that I was very, very wrong. Either that or the Mandela effect strikes again. Either way, I think this thing ran for just a handful of episodes way back in 1978. And then there was this. From the director of Roots comes a vacation gone seriously awry. Along with Agent 99 and Marcia Brady, Barnes stars in this classic TV movie as a beautiful blonde who may be a whole lot smarter, savvier, dare I say a survivor than she originally seems. This thing is something of a cult classic and definitely worth tracking down if you haven't already seen it. I think it is some of Priscilla's best work from the early stages of her career. And then this happened. It was a gig that she definitely wanted. But once Priscilla got there, she was questioning her judgment. In fact, I've read that a few episodes into Three's Company, Priscilla requested to be released from her contract. Of course, the producers were having none of that. After all, right or wrong, they felt that they'd really been through the ringer with Suzanne Summers. Her contract renegotiations ultimately left her high and dry and without a TV series, and while Jenny Lee Harrison had been a suitable replacement, at least for a while, as Chrissy's cousin Cindy, the producers felt like Barnes' new character, sweet, smart, and sexy Nurse Alden, could bring a little more substance and heft to a comedy that was truly as lightweight as they come. By the way, this wasn't the first time that Barnes had played a nurse on television. In fact, after touring the world with Bob Hope, Barnes struck up a friendship with the late, great Peter Falk, which led to her being cast as a nurse in a 1975 episode of Columbo. Apparently, nursing was in this young lady's blood. Well, at least acting like a nurse was. Alright, let's get back to the early 80s. For 72 episodes, Barnes did her very best to deliver upon what the producers asked of her. Be Suzanne's replacement, but don't be Suzanne. They didn't want another Chrissy, hence the reason behind Jenny Lee Harrison's vanishing act as Cousin Cindy. Truthfully, what they really wanted was a return to the glory days of the show when the ratings were through the roof, and at least for a while, they got that. But they also got so much more from Priscilla. Like I said, at this point, she was already a survivor in the industry. She'd seen a lot, and she knew how to deal with it. Maybe her stardom on Three's Company was a little bittersweet, and maybe she did have some regret about being there, but you know what? She tucked that regret away and turned in phenomenal performances during those final seasons of the show. Unlike co-star and great friend of this very day, Joyce DeWitt, it's likely that Priscilla wasn't disappointed when the producers decided to take the show in a different direction and spin it off as Three's a Crowd. Nope, I'm quite sure she gave Ritter and DeWitt big hugs and began planning the next phase of her career, which included an appearance in the very last Timothy Dalton Bond flick, License to Kill. Things didn't work out all that well for her character in the movie, but what was clear to anyone who was watching Barnes' career was that she had successfully graduated from television to motion pictures. And since that time, Barnes has found steady work as a character actor in a wide range of movies like the Sean Penn-directed The Crossing Guard, co-starring with Jack Nicholson, Kevin Smith's quirky comedy Mallrats, and the Rob Zombie flick The Devil's Rejects. And there were many, many more. Way too many to mention here. It's been a great career for sure. Earlier I mentioned Barnes' friendship with Joyce DeWitt, but I believe that she is also fairly close friends with Richard Klein, the actor who played Larry, as well. It was fun to see all three of them along with Jenny Lee Harrison on Antenna TV's recent Three's Company 40th anniversary reunion show. Despite a rough start and some initial reservations, it's clear that Priscilla more than just survived Three's Company. She thrived during her time on that show, and decades later, I'm glad she is still around to celebrate that show with her friends. Alright, one more picture. This is a nice photo. Who wouldn't want a foot rub from Nurse Terri? I can't imagine many who would pass that up. Anyway, please share your memories in the comments section, and while you're at it, I'd love a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. And I would be honored if you would consider subscribing to my channel. I talk about music, movies, and television, mostly from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. You know, the good stuff. But most importantly, and as always, thank you so much for watching.